From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, there is a silent battle waiting for you on your phone, because the first thing your thumb reaches for is not air or water or sunlight, but a screen that has learned how to speak directly to your weaknesses. And if you are being honest with yourself, you know it, because the first scroll is never the last. And what you call catching up is actually falling behind in your own life. You can feel it every single time you say just one more, and suddenly 30 minutes disappear. This is why you need to hear what I am about to tell you, because it is not just you, it is all of us, scrolling through the digital noise, waiting for something to make us feel alive, but feeling emptier every time the screen goes black. This is not because you are lazy or undisciplined, but because the apps you use every day are designed to win against the human mind, and for years they have been winning. The real danger is that many people no longer even notice the war happening inside them. So today we are going to talk about how to shift from doom scrolling to bloom scrolling, how to rewire your social media mind so you stop consuming content that drains you and start absorbing content that grows you. Because if you do not take control of your attention, someone else already has, and they are using it to make money while you slowly lose yourself. You know that feeling when you wake up tired even though you slept, when you feel heavy even though nothing happened, when you feel overwhelmed even before the day starts. That is not exhaustion. That is mental overload from scrolling through an infinite stream of problems, tragedies, drama, gossip, conflict, arguments, disasters, and negativity that have nothing to do with your real life but feel like they do. Because your brain cannot tell the difference between a threat on the screen and a threat in your world. So every time you scroll through bad news, your nervous system activates. Every time you see someone living a life that feels better than yours, your self-confidence drops. Every time you read comments filled with hate, your emotional environment becomes polluted. The truth is, the human brain was never built to carry the weight of the entire world, yet you carry it in your pocket every day. This is why doom scrolling is so addictive. It gives your brain the illusion that you are preparing for danger, while actually making you more anxious, less focused, and more disconnected from your real goals. I want you to imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden, and every scroll is a seed you plant. Then ask yourself, what seeds have you been planting for the last year? Fear, comparison, frustration, confusion, anger, hopelessness. Then look at your life and be honest. Do you see those same emotions growing inside you? Because they did not appear from nowhere. They came from what you repeatedly fed your mind every day. The global world around us in 2024 and 2025 has become even more intense. Everything is faster, louder, more urgent, more alarming, more polarized, more extreme, and the algorithms take advantage of this because they know that negative content keeps you on the screen longer than positive content. So they feed you more of what stresses you, because stress keeps you scrolling, and scrolling keeps you profitable. But here is the shift that can change everything in your life. What you pay attention to becomes your future. And if your attention is constantly consumed by negativity, your future will mirror what you consume. You may not realize how much this has shaped your identity. When you say the world is getting worse, ask yourself, did you conclude that? Or did the algorithm feed you a personalized stream of worst-case scenarios until your brain accepted it as truth? When you feel like everyone is doing better than you, ask yourself, did you conclude that? Or did the algorithm show you only the top 0.1% while hiding the millions of people who are still figuring life out just like you? When you feel like you are failing, ask yourself, did you conclude that? Or did you scroll past hundreds of highlight reels that tricked your brain into believing you are behind? What if the problem is not you? What if the problem is the lens the world has forced you to look through? What if you could change the lens? What if you could rewire your digital environment so that every scroll makes you wiser, not weaker, calmer, not anxious, stronger, not drained? That is bloom scrolling, purposeful, intentional, growth-based scrolling, where your social media becomes a tool, not a trap, and your mind becomes a place of clarity, not chaos. It starts with one powerful realization. You are not addicted to your phone. You are addicted to the emotions your phone gives you. Because emotions are the brain's currency, and the algorithm knows which ones you respond to the most. So if you want to break free, you must change the emotional reward built into your scrolling habits. Science shows us that small intentional changes in digital behavior literally rewire neural pathways, meaning your mind can be retrained, your feed can be redesigned, and your scrolling can become a source of inspiration rather than a trigger for anxiety. Imagine this: a feed that teaches you how to build wealth instead of making you feel poor. A feed that teaches you how to control your mind instead of making you question your worth. A feed that inspires you to take action instead of keeping you frozen watching other people live their dreams. A feed that expands your worldview instead of drowning you in conflict and outrage. A feed that reminds you of what is possible instead of reinforcing everything that can go wrong. That is bloom scrolling, and it is not unrealistic. It is simply intentional, and it is the difference between being controlled by your environment and consciously shaping the world your mind lives in. You cannot control the world around you, but you can control what you expose your mind to, and your mind becomes what it is repeatedly exposed to. Let me tell you a story, because sometimes a story cuts deeper than facts. There was a guy named Adrian. He was smart, ambitious, capable, but every morning he woke up feeling like he was already behind. He thought he was procrastinating, but the truth was he was overwhelmed. His feed was filled with world chaos, celebrity drama, financial collapse warnings, perfect bodies, perfect couples, perfect luxury lifestyles, perfect everything, and the more he scrolled, the smaller he felt. Until one night he looked at the screen and said, "How is it possible that I am living a real life yet I feel trapped in a virtual one?" So he changed one thing. He unfollowed 90% of the people he consumed content from and replaced them with creators who taught about self-discipline, wealth building, emotional intelligence, mental health, creativity, global trends, and personal growth. After 2 weeks he felt lighter. After 4 weeks he felt clearer. After 8 weeks he felt like himself again. He realized something important. His depression was not coming from his life. It was coming from his feed, because your feed becomes your mirror. And if your mirror is distorted, you will never see yourself correctly. Most people do not know they are living inside a distorted mirror that constantly shows them either a world falling apart or a world too perfect to reach. So let me ask you, who would you be if your mind was no longer shaped by fear, comparison, and digital chaos? Who would you be if your scrolling made you smarter instead of sadder, stronger instead of stressed, inspired instead of insecure? Because I promise you, this version of you already exists. It is just buried under too much noise. And the shift from doom scrolling to bloom scrolling is how you uncover it. Your future depends on it. Because every minute you lose in doom scrolling is a minute stolen from your goals, your peace, your clarity, your potential, and your purpose. You are not meant to live your life watching other people live theirs. Your life is the main story, not the background scene, and deep down you know it. The world right now is facing new pressures, rising mental health issues, deepening financial stress, global uncertainty, and people are turning to social media more than ever for escape. But the escape has become a prison unless you choose differently, unless you scroll differently, unless you take back the power of your own mind. It starts with asking yourself better questions. Why am I scrolling? What emotion am I looking for? What emotion am I feeding? What is this content doing to my mind? Who benefits from me consuming this? What am I losing every time I click on something that hurts me more than it helps me? Once you become aware, you begin to take control. Because awareness breaks addiction and intention rewires the mind. Once you shift from mindless scrolling to mindful scrolling, everything changes. The apps stay the same, but your experience becomes unrecognizable. And you begin to bloom. You begin to grow. You begin to rise above the digital noise. And you start to see your life for what it is, not what the algorithm wants you to believe it is. Let me tell you something powerful. You do not need to quit social media to save your mind. You need to curate it, because curation is power. And bloom scrolling is the art of controlling the information that enters your mind so your mind stops working against you and starts working for you. Imagine the version of you 6 months from now if every scroll was a lesson, a skill, a new insight, a global perspective, a financial tool, a psychological breakthrough, a mindset upgrade. Imagine how far ahead you would be. Imagine how confident you would feel. Imagine how unrecognizable your life would look. Because the truth is, your mind is your most valuable asset. And doom scrolling is draining it. Bloom scrolling is building it. Doomscrolling steals your energy. Bloomscrolling creates it. Doomscrolling traps you. Bloomscrolling transforms you. The moment you decide to change your feed, you begin to change your future. Now that you know this, the only question left is simple. Which version of yourself are you going to feed for the rest of your life? The one shaped by fear or the one shaped by growth? The one shaped by anxiety or the one shaped by purpose? The one shaped by algorithms or the one shaped by intention? Your thumb can take you to different worlds, but only one of them leads you to who you were meant to be. If you are ready to reclaim your attention, your peace, your clarity, and your potential, then your transformation begins the moment you decide to scroll with intention, because your mind deserves better, your future deserves better, and you deserve better. So start today. Make your feed a place where your potential feels possible. Make your screen a doorway, not a distraction, and choose bloomscrolling over doomscrolling, because the world will always try to control your mind, but you have the power to choose what grows within it. If this message resonated with you and you are ready to break the cycle and rewire your digital world, then do this. Like the video, comment your thoughts below, subscribe for more mind-shifting content, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what comes next, because your transformation is just beginning.